Hello friends, this video on excretory products and their elimination part 3 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Here we are going to talk about the excretion in different animals. So in this lesson we are going to focus on the excretory system of different animals. So first we will talk about all the lower animals and then we will talk about the human excretory system. Now when I say animals, the variety is huge. You can just think of the animal kingdom in your mind and you can just see, okay, there are so many varieties of animals present. So can we expect that the excretory system for all these animals will be the same? The excretory system for a dog would be the same as that in case of a butterfly, and that would be same as in case of a tiger or a bat. That is quite impossible. Because since the organisms, even though they are all animals, but their body structure and everything is so different that the excretory system also has to be different in all of them. And that is why we say that different animals of the animal kingdom have different excretory structures. Now some of them have highly specialized organs, for example kidneys, for the purpose of excretion, whereas there are some other animals where excretion takes place simply through their body surface, so they do not have any specialized organs. So it actually differs from one phylum to another phylum. So here what we will do is we will quickly discuss about the different ways of excretion for different animals of the animal kingdom. So we will talk about the excretory structures phyla-wise. So let us first talk about the phylum Platyhelminths. So Platyhelminths is the group of flatworms. So Platyhelminths have all the flatworms in it. Now these flatworms have specialized cells called flame cells, which are used as excretory organs. Now they are specially present for the purpose of excretion. So let us see what are these flame cells. Now these flame cells are nothing but they form a branched system of ciliated tubules throughout the body. So throughout the body you can see a tubular like structures which are all ciliated. So you can actually see the flame cell if you actually look at each of these structures more in more detail. Now the presence of these cilia, how does it help? Now cilia are the small hair-like structures. Now these cilia, the beating of the cilia actually helps to make the fluid move along the tubular structure. Due to the presence of the cilia, the fluid actually tends to move, and this fluid contains the waste materials of the body. So the flame cells regulate the contents of the interstitial fluid directly. So they are connected to a duct system of pores to expel the waste. So if you see all these are connected to a pore, and from the pore they are all like thrown to the exterior. So here if you see each of these branched tubules, they have a cap-like structure which is called a flame cell. So here you can have some small cells, they will have a cap-like structures, and those cells will be the flame cells. Now there will be cilia present in each of these tubules. So now due to the movement of the cilia, the fluid will be moving through this network of the ciliated tubules. Now once the fluid moves through the entire network, it will reach to the pores, that is an opening to the exterior, and through that pore the wastes will be thrown out to the exterior. So that is how the platyhelminths excrete. These flame cells also help to maintain osmoregulation. What is osmoregulation? This is a term which is used for the ionic balance of the body. That is, it helps to maintain the correct water and ionic balance of the body. So of course whenever excretion happens, so it not only takes out the waste materials, it also takes out the excess of water or the excess of ions which might be present in the body. So this is how platyhelminths excrete. Next is the nematodes. Nematodes were the roundworms. The examples of nematodes are Butyraria. This is how they look like. Now these nematodes have specialized excretory pores. So even though they do not have specialized organs, but they have small openings or minute openings called pores, and they are only for the purpose of excretion. Nitrogenous wastes are excreted in the form of ammonia. So directly in the form of ammonia. So if it is excreted in the form of ammonia, that itself means ammonia being highly soluble in water, it is excreted being dissolved in water through these pores. However, some of the nematodes also have specialized glands called rennet glands, which are used to excrete salts. But these rennet glands are not present in all nematodes. They are mainly present in the marine nematodes, that is those which are present in the marine water or sea water. Now in sea water there will be a lot of salts, right? Because the water is salty. So those excess, it is quite obvious that the nematodes which are present in a marine environment, they tend to take in a lot of salt. So that excess of salts need to be excreted out from their body. So for that purpose, they have these specialized glands which are unicellular in nature, and they are called rennet glands. Now it is not necessary that one nematode can have only one rennet glands. They can have one or multiple rennet glands. Next is the annelids. The best example of annelid would be an earthworm. So these are the segmented worms, that is their entire body is distinguished in the form of segments. So you can see they all have segments. This is one segment, this is another segment. So their entire body is segmented. Now they have specialized excretory organs called nephridia. This is something interesting as well as important. So earthworms have specialized organs for excretion called nephridia. So what is nephridia? So let us quickly look at that. Now if you talk about how and where they are present, all the nephridia, they always exist in pairs. So here you can see these two exist in pairs, and these two exist in pairs, these two exist in pairs. So that is how they exist. All the nephridia, they exist in pairs. Nephridia are segmentally arranged coiled tubules. So in each segmentally arranged, that means each segment you have a pair of nephridia. So in each segment they are properly arranged, and they are arranged in the form of coiled tubules. Now from here they might look as some dotted structures, but actually they are tube-like structures, very coiled tube-like structures. So it is just you are just viewing it from above, so you are not able to see the tube entirely. Now there are three types of nephridia that are present in an earthworm, that is septal nephridia, integumentary nephridia, and pharyngeal nephridia. So let us see what are each of them. So if you talk about septal nephridia, they are present on segment 15 to the last that open into the intestine. So here this is the mouth of the earthworm. Right, so this septal nephridia, it starts from the 15th segment to the last that open into the intestine. So towards the end, that is the septal nephridia. So what do? They discharge the waste materials into the alimentary canal. So this is basically the alimentary canal. So these septal nephridia, they will throw the waste products into the alimentary canal. Integumentary nephridia, they are present on the lining of the body wall of segment 3 to the last that open on the body surface. So here you can see these are the integumentary. The dotted structures which you see, they are the integumentary nephridia, and they will throw the waste products to the exterior, that is they throw it directly to the outside, because they are pore-like structures on the body surface, so they can directly throw it to the exterior. And the last one is the pharyngeal nephridia, which are present in 3 paired tufts in the 4th, 5th and 6th segment. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, these are the pharyngeal nephridia. Why they are called pharyngeal? Because they are present near the pharynx. So they discharge waste products into the alimentary canal. So this entire canal is the alimentary canal, that is the digestive tract. So pharyngeal nephridia and septal nephridia, they throw the waste materials into the alimentary canal, and then the alimentary canal will throw it out in the form of feces. Whereas the integumentary nephridia, since they are in connection to the body surface, so they throw the waste materials directly to the outside. Next is the structure of the nephridia. Now these nephridia regulate the volume and composition of the body fluids, as I mentioned before also, that the fluids which moves from the internal environment into these nephridia, these fluids actually they contain all the excess water or the excess ions which might be present in the body. That way it helps to regulate the composition of body fluids. If you talk about the structure of the nephridium, it consists of three parts: nephridiostome, main body of the nephridium, and nephridiopore. So let us try to understand the structure of each nephridium. Now nephridium is the singular form and in plural it is called nephridia. Okay, so it has mainly three parts: nephridiostome, main body of the nephridium, and the nephridiopore. Now let us see how it looks like. So this nephridiostome, this is a funnel shaped structure. So it is like a funnel, something like this. Like how you have a funnel, right? This is how it looks like. So this is your nephridiostome. Now what does it do? A funnel. You would have used a funnel often to pour a liquid. Let us suppose if you want to pour a liquid in a bottle which has a very narrow neck. The neck is not very wide. In that case, how do you pour the liquid? If you directly try to pour it, it might spill out. So that is why we often use a funnel, so that the liquid just gets inside through that funnel. So here, this funnel called nephridiostome is also that funnel where the coelomic fluid along with the waste enters. So this is where the fluid enters, and this fluid also has the wastes. The next part is the main body of the nephridium. This main body is nothing but a tube-like structure. So this is actually connected to a tube-like structure, somewhat like this. So it is like all coiled. So a coiled tube-like structure forms the body of the nephridium, right? So this thin loop, what does this loop does? Now the fluid now flows through this tubular structure. Now while it flows through this entire body of the nephridium, reabsorption takes place. That means in that fluid, as I said, the fluid has wastes, but that doesn't mean that the fluid only has waste. The fluid also have useful substances like glucose, amino acids. It also has water, and it also has wastes. So while the fluid travels throughout the body of the nephridium, the cells on the lining of these tubular structure, they tend to reabsorb the useful substances. For example, glucose, amino acids, useful solutes, as well as some amount of water, all those things get reabsorbed. Now whatever is left out, that is the waste. So what happens to that waste? That waste goes to the last part, that is the nephridiopore. Nephridiopore is nothing but a small pore which is present on the surface of the body wall. So here you can look at these pores which are present on the surface. So this is a nephridiopore. So finally the waste, which is actually the waste. So now the fluid only has waste because all the useful substances have been reabsorbed while it was passing through the body of the nephridium. Now these wastes will be expelled outside through this pore. So now if you look at the functioning, or if you look at the way a nephridia functions, you can say that it is analogous to the human kidney. Even in human beings, the kidney as well as the other excretory organs together perform a similar sort of function. So when we will talk about the human excretory system, you will get to know about that. So this is how the nephridia works in case of an earthworm. So a ciliated tunnel leads to a long coiled tube, which in turn leads to a bladder. So when you say bladder, where is the bladder located? Bladder is located somewhere here, which is used to store this fluid temporarily. And then from this bladder, it actually gets discharged through the small pore. Thank you. Please visit www.examfear.com to watch more videos, attempt free online test, get free study material, find tutors and mentors. Thank you once again.